I don't know all of the history of these movements and how they're related to other forms of Tai Chi practice. I do know that there are many styles of Tai Chi. It's a very rich history, and the movements are chosen very precisely, very deliberately by the teachers and that those who continue to study these movements in these series of movements. As I'm sure some of you, if not many of you, know, um, there are many Tai Chi forms where there's like many more than 10 movements, like 20, 30, 50, sometimes over 100 movements. And I know that my own Tai Chi teacher and my former Sanzen teacher, Stephen Roshi, he had really studied Tai Chi his whole life. It was very much a part of his, as I understand it, part of his own cultural heritage. His family roots go back to southern China, and he had he would bring in other forms of Tai Chi into our classes at times. But the focus was always on how to use Tai Chi to develop Hara and to complement the other ways in which we train in Zen. Uh, and so, Cynthia, if you have done or if you will do, and for any of you, other forms of Tai Chi practice, there are some distinctive features of this form of Tai Chi that we do, which we call Mu Yi Tai Chi. With it's very simplified into 10 movements. And of course, we move into 4 directions, but then we just start back at right where we began. Uh, this shows one thing: emphasis upon simplicity, not trying to get us too much in our heads where you have to spend years and years mastering a form. The form is relatively easy to get into. Um, Another is repetition. There's tremendous repetition. And I think what you find through the repetition is what you find through much of other Zen training, but particularly with the Tai Chi. With each movement, the mind settles into the body, and your confidence in the wisdom of the body and the intelligence of the body really grows, or rather, it gets restored. Your body, all of you have done the 10 movements, certainly those of us who trained during Keshin with the Tai Chi, your body knows those movements. The time when you miss a step, 9 out of 10 is because your mind gets in the way. So the repetition is a way of, again, like much of our other Zen training, it's a way of realizing in a very embodied way the non-duality of mind and body, which for many of us is the first non-duality to dissolve, to break down. So we emphasize repetition, as I just said. We simplify the movements, and we also play with speed. But this is very typical, I think, of the Taoist kind of orientation, that we play with the speed and we work up this really strong, intense yang energy. I've shown this Tai Chi form to other people who have practiced in Tai Chi, and they're very turned off because they think it's too violent, it's too rough, it doesn't have sensitivity. But with our form of training, right, very much what we're doing is Ki first, then Ma'ai. But the Ma'ai, the form, is not something that you impose on the movement from the mind, right? Like in some cookie cutter fashion. It's rather the Ma'ai, or the form, takes shape naturally through your body. When you, Cynthia, when you do Yat, it's not going to look exactly the same as mine, because it's going to be a natural expression of your body. And the repetitive movements of this Tai Chi form, as it builds and grows in the Ki, and then, as you know, we often bring it down and we become very slow. But you can feel the Ki is still very much there. but it's a kind of a softening ki. It's not as much of that yang, rising masculine energy. It's now yang turning into yin, a falling energy, a sinking, a softening, a relaxing energy. And you really relax into the body. Yeah? But the ki is just as strong. And it's a way, again, of reenacting this movement that we do every day with the world around us. We rise and we fall. In many ways, this is what our Tai Chi, our Mu'i form is. It's a study of what's happening every day by really entering into it in a very kind of Zen-like way. So that's what I can say, Cynthia, at this point.